All right, folks, we're doing something different. Usually I do my This Week in Eternal Evolution video on Wednesdays where I go over the week that was in Eternal Evolution and then I read the patch notes and kind of discuss what's coming up. But I kind of want to separate those two videos. We kind of always glossed over the stuff the week that was, and I wanted to make it its own dedicated segment given that we get the patch notes tonight and we're going to know what's coming up. So now on Tuesdays I'm going to be bringing in a guest or two or a few. We'll figure out. I'm still trying to figure out the format. And then I'm going to make a separate video on Wednesdays just going over the patch notes. So tonight, let me switch over the camera angle. Tonight, we got none other than VetAaron. How do you want me to call you, Aaron or Vet? Or VetAaron?
Whatever sounds better to you. I'm not picky.
All right. Okay, so introduce yourself, plug your channel. His link for his channel will also be in the description of this video.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. First of all, thanks to Dylar for having me here. He's been a really awesome supporter of my channel, jumping in on my live streams when I get a chance to do them. So again, giant thank you. I am veteran of veteran gaming. I've been, making content on mobile games for about a year and a half now, coming up on a year and a half. Channel's been doing well, getting into Eternal Evolution, some other stuff. Not too much about me other than that. Just trying to do the best I can, hopefully helping out some people with some videos, some content that is entertaining, although not possibly as entertaining as Dylar. So check out the channel if you get a chance. Happy to be here. Hopefully this helps. Yeah,
and everybody, please go give him some subscribes. His stuff is pretty good. He's got a weird fascination with toes. I don't fault him for that, but
whoa. Let's not bring Kane into this early in the video. Let's build up to Kane and his foot issues.
Fair enough. All right, let's start with some softball questions here. So, are you still having fun? Because we're almost a year into this game.
Yeah, so I started playing right when the game launched, and I'm not a whale, but I'm not free to play either. And to me, the game has been entertaining. It's been moving, and I don't want to sound like I'm getting paid by the developers here, but coming from my background of like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which I've been playing since like 2019, 2017, I don't know, way too long, basically. These developers are listening to feedback. I mean, when Guild to Guild came out and it wasn't what they wanted, they just said like, hey, I'm sorry, and scrapped it. And they're like, we're going to start over. So it's really, coming from Capital Games and their complete lack of communication. And, Raid Shadow Legends, Marvel Strike Force, I've dabbled in all that. And I'm still having fun. The developers are still putting a lot of time into this. They're listening to feedback. So personally, I'm really enjoying this still. My brother has been free to play playing since it launched too. Guilds are going strong. I know there's been a little bit of negative feedback coming up with the new SP heroes, but I think we're going to get into that later in the video. So I don't want to throw out any spoilers there, but yeah, in general, I'm still just as into Eternal Evolution, I feel like, as I was, the second or third week.
Yeah, I am too. And you're right. It is a different dynamic with the devs of this game. I've been on the CC program for my previous game, and then I was around for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. I went on some live streams with Crumb and stuff, and they were all very corporate, and it wasn't the dynamic that we have here. I was discussing with our CC rep this morning about an issue that she was going to try to take to the devs directly. So I agree on all those points you made. Okay, so your account, free to play or pay to win?
So I am not free to play. I had a free to play account that I was kind of rolling along with, and it just, when I'm trying out new projects with the channel the whole time, I had to dump it, even though I was having fun with the free to play aspect also. So I haven't dumped a ton of money into this, but like the quantum mechanic, I think it's called, where like for $5 you can get an extra triple S hero or divine prototype if you win it. Like, to me, so like you go out to PlayStation and you pay $60 for a game, and I don't spend near the amount of time on that. Even like Elden Ring, which I was obsessed with, and Harry Potter, which was all right. Like, to me, if you spend up to $60, you're essentially free to play still, because that's just paying for the game. So when those awesome deals like Quantum Mechanic come up for like just $5 for an extra mythic prototype, triple S, or both if you were crazy lucky, that is the easiest decision I've ever made. So I typically try to make free to play content. So I'm pulling up some of the packs right now, which you guys can't see, but just looking at it, I feel like it's pretty reasonable. So I don't blame anybody that whales in any game. You know, if that's what you do, if this is your release from the stress of life and you got income to throw into it, have at it. Go for it, man. Because that just makes all the other people that don't have that accessible income that want to play free to play, you're just enabling that. So God bless you for it. And you're keeping the community strong and you're keeping the developers into it, which is creating more content. So God bless every whale. More power to you. But if you're free to play, hope you're having as much fun as I am.
Well, I've definitely spent more than $60 like a typical AAA game. But us being content creators, we can also kind of write off a portion of that spending as a business expense too. So not that I am advocating spending in this game. Be responsible. Spend only what you can afford. Next question: PvE or PvP? What's your favorite?
This is going to be like a weak answer because it's not really an answer.
Fair enough.
I think I enjoy PvP more, and I'm excited about the future of PvP and Eternal Evolution because for my account, you know, I'm at 24.7 million total GP in the account. And Dylar, I'm sure you're a little bit higher, but like you're in the same range. And to me right now, PvP is kind of the same because the game's still so new. There's only so many teams out there. And the way they have built it with kind of like tank bond and, energy bond with the commanders, they're kind of limited that way, right? If they had generalist commanders, you could throw a world of teams in there. Maybe Paluno just rocks in PvP because he's hitting everyone. You just don't know. But because we don't have that generalist commander, it's really limited our PvP teams. So as the game progresses and we get more heroes in the game, I'm excited for the direction PvP can go. But on the flip side, PvE and specifically Twilight Lands, those are that's where the good loot is right now, right? Like Twilight Lands with all the hybrids and the help me, the divine prototypes, like
prototypes, yep.
That's those are the key things right now. So in my opinion, Dylar, I don't know if you disagree, but Twilight Lands is the most important thing you can do inside of Eternal Evolution right now if you want to get rewards.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's how you're going to get all your red prototypes. That's how you're going to get your SSS Hyper Evolution Crystals. That's the only way you can get those other than buying the pack for $99. I don't know if it's up right now. I got the store open as well, and it might be in here, but I'm not going to go looking around for it. But I agree. I'm a PvP guy too. I do love Twilight Lands as well. I actually like endless battles. I like that first day when it opens and you got to really get into theory crafting. I got a really secret team that I'm not allowed to talk about because it was one of my Discord people, and he's like, you can't tell anybody about this team because I will lose first place if you do. So I'm not going to do that unless.
Are you going to release it as soon as endless lands or endless battles over?
Nah, if people got to come into my Discord, maybe they'll bug me enough they can get a sneak peek. But
all right,
did you hear? I got confirmation over the last 2 days that Guild vs. Guild is officially dead and scrapped.
Okay. So what do you think we're going to be? Because I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later too with the Hell Arena, but Hell Arena screams to me that was Guild vs. Guild just redone, right?
It sounds like it. The contact, the loose lips sinker ship said that when they scrapped Guild vs. Guild, they kind of pivoted into Hell Arena, and that's what we got, was this Hell Arena. Now, the unfortunate thing, and maybe we'll discuss it a little bit more later, but you come from Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and Galactic Arena Championships, is that what it's called, GAC? I can't remember, it's been so long.
GAC is the individual event.
That was like an hour to a 2 hour to a 3 hour PvP marathon 3 times a week, whereas Hell Arena right now is really, really quick. 3 battles a day, you're done in like a minute if you hit skip on all 3 battles, but we'll get into that further down the road. Favorite hero in the game right now?
And so here's the thing. I think I gotta go Leo. He just because of everything he's done for the account, and there's been other heroes like Nord, Daniel, really cool effects and everything. To me, and maybe this will be a good argument here. I still think Leo will progress you farther. I don't even know if I want to say it. I think Leo standing alone might progress you farther than Daniel or Nord.
I agree with you, and I get crap a lot for putting
you
Leo.
Agree, right?
I get crap a lot for putting Leo so high up there on my tier list, and people forget, like, I will, even though I'll sometimes scrap the Vanguard team, I still put him as a frontline tank unit, and he'll disrupt the entire other team. People forget that. Like, he's got a lot of survivability. You know, his damage is a little bit overshadowed now, but it's still really good damage, and he does what he has to do to get your team rolling. Or if he's on a Vanguard team, he's still the disruptor on that team, him and Barag. So I still like Leo as well.
Thank you, because he gets that immunity when he first gets killed. Put him on the front line of any PvP team. Twilight lands, because he can't be killed right away. It just gives everybody else time. Like, that's my big problem with Nord right now. In Twilight lands especially, you put him up there, and sometimes he just gets zerged. Yeah. He's just done.
I've highlighted that in my PvP videos, that when they put Nord right up in the front line, I'll just nuke him down before he does anything.
This is why we get along. This is good. I like that. Leo, he's still for me the best, because everybody is upset that we can't get Nord, and I agree, it's kind of unfair. It's been a long time. Leo, get Leo.
Yeah, agreed. Which I think he's coming right away. If the stars are aligning, we're going to be going into a Vanguard cycle next. A tip for anyone that watches this tonight: tomorrow we're going to get announced the next banner is going to be a wishlist banner with Barag, Jaina, and Daniel. And likely going to get a giant tower with Barag as well, because we're kicking off a Vanguard cycle. The next hero up is either going to be a new support or a new Vanguard. So bye-bye Crete. So yes, get your Leo, because I do think we're going to get a Leo banner in the next couple weeks.
Plus, come on, Leo's he's a giant lion with like a shoulder guard, and his sword becomes 2 swords. Come on, that's just cool.
Yeah, and I refuse to put him in the carrot skin. I can't do it.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Plus,
it's not worth the 2%.
I didn't buy it for $100 either, so I guess I can't if I wanted to.
No, just lose. If it comes down to that 2% bonus for the skin, just lose. It's exactly fine.
So, favorite class, and then we'll move on to some game discussion.
Favorite class? I'm gonna go out on kind of a limb here. Hunters. I enjoy hunters, especially because Taylor is clearly on roids and skips legs day, but still, like, he can jump into Terradome because you can move him. Super, super useful. And I don't know if you agree with me, as an elite character, he is the highest elite damage dealer.
I don't know. I'd have to test that, but I do agree that Taylor is awesome. Like, he's
at least single target.
He's still usable everywhere at endgame.
For sure.
He is probably going to be one of your hard carries as at the beginning of the game if you're free to play. And if you're pay to win too, because you're going to use him in Terradome all the way through. You're going to use him in Disa. You're going to use him. We just had to use him in the Endless Battle last month when it was the Hunter battle. You use him in Turbine on the lower turbines 3, 6, and 9.
So many places, right?
Yeah, he's still excellent. So I agree with you. Hunters, I was just getting into Hunters. They were just finding their groove with me, and then they released Teresh, and he just destroyed the Hunter counter, or the Hunter team, and just did bad things. But they still annihilate summoners. They still kill a lot of good things, and Teresh is so new, we're going to be running into teams that don't have him that we can still use Hunters on. So cool. Yeah. All right. So now let's discuss like this week in Eternal Evolution, because we did get a whole lot. They dropped probably the biggest patch that they've ever dropped on us. Yeah. So we'll start off here. You can't see it, but I'm going to be moving over to the collection in our base, the collection building.
Collection in the base.
Yeah. So this is where you get your trophies, where you set your trophies, right? So
yeah.
So people watching this, don't judge me. This is my streaming account you're seeing. This account gets minimal development. My main account, I have no blues on here. It's all yellows. I don't have any reds yet. But what is your initial thoughts on what this building, or in general, and then what this piece of content brings to the game, or what it adds to the game?
So here's what I, as of right now, like I generally do not put out strong opinions right away, because a lot of people freak out right away, and I like to just kind of see how it pans out, because I'm that guy. I am excited about this because, coming from your background in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and Marvel Strike Force has it too, and Raid has it to some extent. I don't remember what they call it, but this is what differentiates your account, right? This is what changes my Leo from your Leo. Like, gear is gear, but like, we're putting out so many videos, and everybody's obviously watching all our videos with our advice, so everybody's kind of gearing roughly the same. because that's just the optimal, because PvE is what it is and the most important, right? So like everybody's gear is kind of, this is where we start to get a little bit of differentiation, where, you know, like it's mods in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, right? Like the speed in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes on the mods can drastically change a character. And this is kind of what, in my opinion, takes a game like this, a strategy game, to the next level. Is what can you pair on top of the base character to make your account stronger than your opponent's account, which is what makes PvP so much fun. And this to me is the start. Do I think down the road they still kind of come out with something like mods in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes?
Maybe.
Right? Like that's a strong bet, because the game has to grow. But to me, this is interesting, because if you start just absolutely stacking trophies for summoners or energy or something like that, and you throw a team in PvP and you're like, oh yeah, these energy, I'm going to blow these dudes out of the water. Oh God, they have an extra 20% in hidden trophies. Like that's the stuff that really gets interesting to me. I think it's going to be good from the game. Is it fully honed yet? I'm not sure. But again, I like to kind of sit back and see how things pan out. But I'm excited. Anything like this that's going to differentiate your account from my account, I like, and let's see where it goes.
I completely agree. Like, I was just thinking about you saying you wanted to load up on, like, say, stats for a team that is not visible when you look at the team. Like, if a person wanted to, like, if they had really stacked vanguards and tanks, they could make a loadout, because we do have 3 loadouts. Unfortunately, they're locked behind high-end Hell Arena keys, these red keys up here that you can only get from Hell Arena. But we can build, people are probably going to build out like a PvE set, a PvP loadout, and then maybe a hodgepodge weird thing. I don't know what people can do, but you're right. You can just load up nothing but Vanguard stats and tank stats and just have beefy characters that, and you know, tanks and vanguards, if you load them up with HP, that's what makes them go, right? So very, very cool. I like it too. The only thing I'm worried about is all of these extra stats that we can tack on to our rosters. Is it going to trivialize content that the end game players have already trivialized? Because really the only thing that's kind of challenging for end game right now is Thundercliff stage 6. That's it. So we need more content if they're going to load us up with stats to tackle the existing content. I'm looking at Ancient Altar as the first candidate.
Yeah, well, Ancient Altar needs to be revamped at this point anyway, but I'm so glad that you're struggling with Thundercliff, because that makes me want to rip my continually graying hair out.
Oh, well, there's only maybe a few people in my guild that can do it, and it takes maxed out Leo, maxed out Barag, maxed out Crete, maxed out, well, Artist is easy to max out, and a maxed out Wamagon. And even then, it's a little bit RNG whether or not Wamagon gets one of those crystals to live. And besides the point, yeah, it is the hardest content in the game, is that dungeon, which we load this up, we load our vanguards and our tanks up with HP, then that's going to change the dynamic. People are going to be able to start getting that down. So yeah, I do like this. It is a way for them to create more progression on our heroes, a little bit more customization on our heroes, and it also gives them things to sell, which they gotta keep coming up with a way to monetize the game, otherwise the game's just gonna die. So
again, I completely agree. God bless every whale out there.
All right, so next we're gonna discuss the new hero that came out this week, the new Triple S. We're not gonna really talk about the assassins just yet. Let's just talk about Teresh. And as I struggle to actually pull him up on screen, ooh, I do have a copy on here. Where is he? Right there. Okay. So, Teresh, when I saw the intro cinematic, I thought, hell, they're getting lazy, because lately the Triple S's have been having 30-second long intros that take forever. That are kind of annoying, because you like switch to look at equipment, or you switch and then you got to deal with listening to all that over again. And I thought he was going to be a really lazy design until we actually got him. So I'll discuss my thoughts on Teresh, but let's hear what you have to say about him.
I made the same point in the last video for, I don't remember, Rebecca, maybe, I don't know, but I was like, man, these are like mini sagas at this point. Like, I'm looking for character growth by the end of this thing. The intro is so long. But I had the same thought. I was kind of like, why are we getting another Minotaur, right? Like Winfear, like animals, but also demons because Viserys is a
Yeah.
succubus for kind of no reason. And then we get like another Minotaur. Like I was kind of bummed by that. I mean, he's a very cool looking Minotaur, but like give me what I wanted was a triple S turtle tank. Give me a turtle tank, right? As a Windfear, wouldn't that be kind of cool? Like he
Turtle
already has the
Turtle
shield
tank
on
would have
him.
been
Come on,
nice, but you see
it
what they're
writes
doing.
itself. Come on, work with me,
They're
people.
they're
Is all
they're,
I'm saying.
they're trying to capitalize on popular visuals from other games. Obviously, Viserys being a succubus, like Jaina is basically a ripoff of Jaina the Archmage from World of Warcraft, and now we're getting a
Yeah.
character that's kind of a ripoff from World of Warcraft Torn. I understand it's cool to look at. It brings nostalgia. We're all gamers. We all probably played those games. But what do you think of his kit? Like, have you played around with him much? Where's yours sitting at?
Yeah, so mine's just Elite. I just have the one copy. I haven't had a chance to play with him yet, which sounds bad now that I hear it in my voice. I think, man, how do I say this? I'm not sure he differentiates that much. I don't know. Like, is he going to be great? Probably. Does he look cool? Yes. Is he going to change your account if you're running Zaida, Womagon, and Pandemonium? I just don't see it.
Okay, he does. He is once
You
you get
think
him.
so?
He does. Once you get him. So first of all, I'll show you this. I just put out a video yesterday on. I used a yellow one, so whatever that is, mythic one or epic one. Sorry, a yellow +1 Teresh with a purple copy of Dominic, and was able to clear Terradome X3.
Oh, I did see you post that video. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I saw it and I was like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, so he brings, like, his kit brings so much because you can pull him out of a tank team and buff any melee situation. So even I did have an Immortal Rickert, and you were kind of relying on Rickert, but he adds 40% damage reduction to melee characters. He does 40% extra damage to melee characters. And Dominic's kit acts such as that you don't really have to have him evolve because his mark that he sets down absorbs the damage. So all you really need is one huge damage healer, like people have been using Jaina or Rickert, just to load up that mark and blow things up. And then Teresh brings in all the survivability in his kit, and you don't have to have him that evolved in order to get all of those support functions. So he's very, very good plug and play. And then on the tanks, he has turned the tank team at endgame into probably, other than the assassins with Caraxia, back into the top of the meta because his ability to chuck Womagon into the back line kills all the hunters. Jaina? What Luke? Because they just melt because the timing works such as that as he's chucking Womagon to the back, that's right when Pandemonium's doing his nuclear magnetic shock, and it's just like a pool of death to anybody in the back line. So this character is very transformative, which I didn't expect when I first read his kit.
So here's my question for you. Because of that zone, which gives increased damage and damage reduction, say you get him to Immortal right now and you can use all of his exclusives and talents. Do you put him in with assassins so that they're in that area, or where do you put him? Do you run him with tanks?
Well, in the endless battles, you're running him with vanguards. He's also, vanguards rely on a lot of HP. I know HP and attack, and so he's just making them insane if you run him in a vanguard team. If we get a new vanguard in a week and a day, put him on there with them, and he buffs them up. He buffs assassins, although you're probably not going to run him in a full assassin team because of Caraxia. But you can use him in many places. Like you could probably use him in the Idar in Katosian Triangle. No one's really done that yet. I'm sure he can very vastly improve people and get them higher levels just based on that alone as well. I'm sure we haven't really fully fleshed out where to use him, but anything that's melee based, he's going to buff survivability wise and attack wise. And his totem shields that reduce incoming damage by 91%, like that is stupid. This guy's like a freaking
his damage
shield.
reduction. You don't even well, that's a nice thing in his kit too. It's all HP based. So you don't even need to worry about putting damage reduction gear on him. You can just max his HP because he's got so much damage reduction built into the kit.
Well, and it mitigates damage so well. Like I said, on Terradome X3, Idar can one-shot anybody. Like he
just
takes
laugh
big,
at
and he doesn't even get affected because the damage is mitigated so much. So yeah, I think this is a really good character. Now that leads me into the next question: is, you know how the last two heroes, it was like what, it was Rebecca. Help me out here. Who were the last two release heroes? Yeah, Durali and Rebecca, right? So
Yes.
I'm going to events right now, and I am going to the Mirror of Reformation.
Okay.
So, for those last two heroes, we had the Resonance Agreement, which basically gave us 2 extra copies at a relatively low cost. I can't remember if it was 120 or 160-ish. But with the introduction of the SP heroes now, and one of the ways to get tickets, the Astral tickets, is to do this Mirror of Reformation. Now, this is going to be a event that comes along with every new release and lasts for a week. And this is kind of the replacement for Resonance Agreement, but you can see you only get 1 extra copy, and it's at 180 limited tickets. So what are your thoughts on the Resonance Agreement that we had for the last 2 versus now this Mirror of Reformation event that looks like is how we're going to get extra new releases for limited tickets?
Yeah, good question. I mean, so I pulled up Mirror of Reformation here. So the first one at 90 is 200 talent or soul potions, which soul potions are good. They're great. You need them. When you get to an account, then maybe your account's the same way, Dylar. Like I've got like 12K soul potions.
Yeah.
Because I just don't use that many heroes anymore. Like soul potions are super important when you get started. And now like I've got them. So to me, an account that's a year old, that's nothing. For the 120 and 150, it's both 10 Astral recruitment cards, which I guess that depends on how lucky you are. Like, but to your point, like 180 for an extra Teresh. So, you know, like I'm not free to play. I hoard a little bit. I currently have 346 limited. And you know, like now I'm kind of looking at it like you said, you've dabbled with Teresh more than I have. He's an outstanding hero, but 180 is kind of steep.
But if you were going to spend 60, if someone was going to pull all their limiteds on his banner, at least this is going to ensure that you get 2 in 180, which is a little bit it's okay odds, and you're probably going to pull some more along the way. So it is a little bit of a catch-up mechanism, but the Resonance Agreement was a better catch-up mechanism because people were able to come out of that with like a yellow 1, or if they got really lucky, a red, whatever red is, I can't remember. I think that's mythic copy of a new release hero.
Yeah.
So
like you're probably going to pull, you know, your 60 for Miranda. So then you're only pulling 120 for Teresh because you're going to get your 60 for Miranda, which is going to get you your gene hybrid from the Enciphered data chip exchange from that level. Like, you know, it's still not horrendous. Is it as good as the Resonance Agreement was? I mean,
yeah, we both agree it's not. Then I assume.
Yeah, I don't see it. This is still not awful, but I did love the Resonance Agreement.
Yeah, it was good, and I've heard a lot of people saying they miss it. All right, so we got an 8-minute timer counting down here. So we got two topics to blast through. The first one's going to be this Hell Arena. So I like Hell Arena for the reason that I thought it was going to replace Summit. It's obviously not replacing Summit, but unlike Summit, a person that's playing, if they're a beginning account or an early mid-game account, they're not getting kicked out and moved into spectator mode. This is kind of like GAC in Star Wars The Galaxy Heroes, where you're in a tier and you're going to play the entire event, and then you're going to get rewards based on your tier placement at the end. So what do you think about Hell Arena? Because I like it. It's PvP. I like PvP. I wish it was longer. I wish it was more in-depth. But I do think it is a step in the right direction, that it allows everybody to play. And it is more rewards for basically free because it's a brand new game mode that has no cost to play.
Agree. I'm going to keep this lightning fast, too. It is a reboot of Guild versus Guild. I like it. Like the main thing that you just said is it keeps everybody involved as opposed to Summit Arena, which you get booted out and then you're just like, yay, that guy. Yeah. And the shop, I think the shop has a ton of potential. Again, not only because of the trophies, which we talked about earlier, but the fact that, I mean, I'm at 59.5K, a couple days into the event, and a copy of Holentus, a triple S, is sitting at 120K. Like, that's super realistic, right? Like that, when I first saw 120K, I was like, dear God, is that even like a possibility? Yeah, it
Yeah,
totally is.
it is.
That's very, very reasonable. So and you can get the astral recruitment cards, the mythic runes. Like I like the store. I like the Hell Arena. To me, is it totally fine tuned? And is this the final copy? I don't know, but I like the direction we're going.
I agree. It is maybe it could be a little bit more, but you know the first rule of Hell Arena, right? You got to use Durali on your team instead of Rebecca.
Hey, I died myself out on that. Oh, that was like I was too deep into the recording. And I was like, I can't even edit this. I have to make fun of myself.
I'm not gonna lie, that made me chuckle.
They look so similar, right? They're both. Never mind. I'm not getting into it. And yeah, if you guys haven't seen, I thought it was Durali. It was Rebecca. It did not go well.
Nope. Cool. Okay, we're gonna finish this off. We got 5 minutes to talk about the most contentious subject this game has probably ever seen, as that is the release of the SP hero. I gotta go dig her out in the frickin' index here. Caraxia. Now, from every people that have bought her, she costs roughly 3,000 US to max, and that's just her copies, not including the red runes that you need to take her to X40 as well. And it takes 800 red runes to X40 her. Just let that sink in. So the community is up in arms. I have seen an exodus of players. I have seen people leave my Discord. I'm assuming because they quit the game as well, and my Discord is mainly EE focused. 3 minutes. What are your thoughts?
Here are my thoughts. And I come from Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We're getting a galactic legend, the most powerful unit in the game, essentially an SP hero, takes months, right? Like, I don't mind this as much because I don't want it to be easy. If you got the whale money, go for it, whale. But this gives me something to go for, right? Like, it's kind of, I don't want to just bounce from triple S to triple S per event. Give me something to aim for. Give me a long-term goal that gives me a reason to keep playing this game. And then when I have it, when I've put all of my time and energy into getting this hero and I finally earned it, let me reap the rewards of being an absolute monster against everybody else that got distracted. Like, I get why people are upset because, frankly, Eternal Evolution is a very generous game, in my opinion.
Totally agree.
And, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I get that you need these heroes for the game to progress. My only advice to people is don't be upset. Look at this as a goal, an ultimate goal of when you get that, like, oh, the power, right? Like, don't get upset just because it's going to be a long time. Focus on the grind and you will get there. And then I don't know. I don't see this as a bad thing. In general, I keep an optimistic view, but don't overreact, right? See how everything plays out. See if you get lucky pulling the cards. Like, I mean, this character, even at Mythic 1, like, look at some of the triple S's that come in this game, even at Mythic 1, that are absolute monsters. And those are just triple S's. Theoretically, you get 1 or 2 copies of this Caraxia, and you're already just a monster. So don't overreact. Give it some time. Let it play out. Those are my thoughts. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think people are overreacting as well. My fear, though, is that the Astral tickets have a drop rate of roughly 4 every 20. And at that rate, you need 480 shards to get her to the 8 copies to get her finished. It could take free-to-play years to get enough tickets to actually get her, unless they are going to give some other ways to get more tickets, because right now you're only getting them from Hell Arena and what we just talked about it, the Astral Mirror on the first week of the new Triple S. So my one fear is that she's going to be too exclusive, that if it was obtainable for a free-to-play to get one in 3 months, I think that would be good. Yes, the Krakens are going to buy her day one, but I think that it's going to take a lot longer. And you know that we're going to get one for each class, and how are they going to stagger them? Because they're going to probably want to put one out every 2 or 3 months, because Hell Arena is a 2-month game mode. Makes sense for them to release a new SP every 2 months. So that's my one fear, but I do think that people are overreacting, and she is so expensive and so cost prohibitive that not a lot of people are going to have her. So you're probably not going to see her. If you're a mid-game or beginning game account, you're not going to see her in Hell Arena either. If someone has one on your shard, well, they win, but they were going to win anyway because they're dropping all that money. So really, it's a non-issue. It's just the fact that this game has been so free to play friendly, and now this is such a stark contrast to that. It's caught everybody a little bit off guard, and now everybody's like, whoa, they're just milking us now. They're, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this is how the game's turning. Well, the game's been so free to play friendly that really it has decentivized spending. I did a whole video on the fact that my account that I've spent upwards of $6,000 on doesn't get a whole lot of benefit from that money spent versus my free-to-play account that has finished as much content in the game, and it is and finishes almost as high ranks in PvP. So I think people are again, like you said, are overreacting, and I don't think it's a big of an issue. It's just something for the Krakens to play. So we actually covered this whole thing. We got a minute to go. So before Zoom kicks me out, so you want to give some final thoughts before we say goodbye?
No, just thank you so much for having me. I hope everybody is still into it. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, hit up Dialar, hit me up. We do our best. We pass along feedback to the developers in Discord that we have. So just don't be afraid to give your feedback. Let us know what you think, because we're not perfect. At least I'm not. Darlar might be. I learn all the time from the community, and that's what makes this game so great. So just keep that up, guys.
All right, perfect. Okay, everybody, his link for his channel is in the description. Go give it a click and go get him a sub. Let me know if you like this kind of segment, and I'll try to keep it up every Tuesday. So until next time, everybody, cheers, peace, bye-bye.